It's Tuesday, June 11th, and I'm your host, Paula Hersey. On Barnstable Today, the Chief of Police has traffic detours and road closure for Main Street this weekend. Channel 18's Terrapin Turtles are getting ready to go home and building the ball fields at Barnstable High School. Now for a look at municipal and legislative notes. Don't wait until you're headed to the beach this weekend. Get your beach sticker today. The Barnstable Recreation Division's 2019 beach parking permits walk-up sales are underway at the Hyannis Youth and Community Center. Hours are Mondays through Saturday, 9 to 4 p.m., and Sundays and holidays, 9 a.m. to noon. For more information, available on the town website or by calling 508-790-6345. The summer season is here, and this weekend starts it off in style. Barnstable Police Chief joins us with some public and safety reminders, road closures, and a message for us all while we travel around town. It's summer on Cape Cod with me today.
Good morning.
Chief Sonovan.
Good morning.
How are you?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm not too bad.
It's Monday.
It is Monday. We'll air this a little later this week, but we really need to talk about some summer activities. One Father's Day weekend. Happy Father's Day, by the way, coming up.
Thank you. I'd say Happy Father's Day to you too, but
yeah, it won't work today. But a whole bunch of things going on this week. I mean,
a host of activities this week.
The Greater Hyannis Chamber has elevated this event to a whole weekend. So it's not just the Father's Day car show, but there's a lot of other things going around that's going to affect traffic, I guess.
Yeah, there's a whole trifecta of things going on. You got there's a road race on Friday, then you got a picnic / concert on the green on Saturday, and then you have the car show and music and a picnic going on Sunday. So it really has built out to a real whole weekend, spectacular weekend of activities and whatnot. So, but just to remind everybody, while all that's going on, there are going to be some traffic restrictions, some road closures, obviously, for the Father's Day car show. Main Street will be closed down till like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But even throughout with like the road race and everything, there'll be some times when you might not be able to get through and whatnot. There'll be police officers and volunteers out there directing traffic and, you know, making sure everybody's safe.
Right. And the actual road closure is Sunday. And it's significant. It's the whole Main Street.
Real early. We'll start with signs will be going up, reminding people of the parking restrictions, and real early in the morning. It's like 5:30 in the morning. We're out there trying to get cars off the street and moving them around, because the cars actually start showing up around 6:30, and they start parking them. And like you said, it's all day, the car show. By 3 o'clock, they're all gone. 2:30, 3 o'clock, they all drive off of Main Street. But, you know, the whole day, you know, it's nothing new. It's been going on a long time, but you're right, it's the whole Main Street.
The whole of Main Street. And you a motorhead? You got a favorite car in that show?
I do not. You know, I go down and walk around with the kids. The kids like looking at the cars and, you know, going down and seeing everybody. And, you know, with all the other activities that get going on around down there over the weekend, you know, with the picnic and the band and everything else, it's going to be spectacular.
Yeah, and a lot of people walking and around, which brings us to our second safety points for discussion this morning is, you know, between distracted driving, OUI, pedestrian. Give us kind of a general, you know, heads up. What should people really be aware of when the crowds really start to build here?
Pay attention.
Pay attention.
Look where you're going. I don't know if a lot of people know about it. It's in the legislature right now. They're working on a hands-free, completely hands-free. You cannot use a cell phone in your hand while driving bill. It has passed through the Senate, expected to go to the House of Representatives, but it gets a lot more restrictive. You know, like some of these other states around us, there's like 14, 15 other states that have banned it altogether. Use of your cell phone while you're actually driving. We haven't yet, but remember, you're not allowed to text and drive and just holding it up in front of your face while you're driving. This time of year, or any time of year really, but this time of year especially, because there's an increased amount of people out on the road, pedestrians, bicycles, even other cars. You know, people stopping suddenly in front of you. You got to be paying attention, you know, this time of year especially.
Right. And just some reiteration, working here at Town Hall, we cross an enormous amount of sidewalks to get to and from work from our parking lot. Some crosswalk etiquette. What should we be paying attention out there?
Well, you know, crosswalk etiquette kind of also starts with the pedestrian. I mean, if you're going to cross, you know, step up, step into the crosswalk, because just hanging out at the top of the crosswalk and you're not crossing, people stop and you know, and then you don't go and you wave people on, it confuses people later. They assume other people aren't crossing the street, so don't just stand there like waiting for a bus, you know. Use the crosswalk, use the crosswalk. But as you're driving and people are, you know, approaching the crosswalk, you should be slowing down. You see a crosswalk, you should be looking to either side of the street to say, hey, is there anybody going to be crossing this? You really shouldn't be waiting until the person's right in front of your car. You should be, you know, scanning while you're driving. You should be scanning your environment, looking around the whole time, seeing what's going on, being aware of your environment. And once those people are starting to walk the street, you stop. You know, in Main Street and South Street in particular, because they're one-way roads, if someone is stopped at a crosswalk, you cannot pass that person because someone can be walking around the other side and you're going to hit them because you can't see them because of the car. So it is illegal to pass a car that is stopped at a crosswalk. So don't do any of that and just pay attention.
Just pay attention. And the last one, don't ever drink and drive.
Do not drink and drive.
Right.
No.
What more is there to say about that? Is this time is, you know, it's so important that people really take that to heart.
Well, it is. You know, you know, the legal limit. You know, there is a legal limit, but even still, your faculties diminish before you hit that limit, and everyone's different. You know, you've been tired, you've been up all day, whatever. It affects what's going on. Do not drink and drive, because even a little bit, you don't want to be sorry for something terrible happening. Just don't drink and drive. Don't
drink and drive. There's enough said. And let's be patient out there, right?
Be nice.
Be nice,
Be
right?
nice.
Chief says, be nice this weekend. Channel 18's Head Start Diamondback Terrapin Turtles, Winkin', Blinkin', and Nod, are preparing to head home to the Great Marsh of Sandy Neck this Thursday, June 13th. Natural Resource Officer Sean Cordes joins us in studio to give the turtles their readiness physical and pit tags before their release. Stay tuned tomorrow for a special Barnstable Today episode of Turtle TV. On our final episode of Turtle TV, Winking, Blinking, and Nod are going to get pit tagged today. With me, Natural Resource Officer Sean Cordes. Sean, they're ready. They have been head started. They're ready to go back to the wild.
They are, yep. So the great thing about this whole process, as we've seen sort of from their hatching and getting to this point over the winter, is that they've done exactly what we've wanted for this program. So, you know, through the Head Start program, they have been head started and are about the size of probably a 3-year-old turtle would be in the wild. So their shell is, you know, well formed, nice and hard. It should keep predators away from them. They're going to be released directly back into the marsh where they'll hopefully spend the rest of their lives. So generally it's believed that their chance of survival is going to be much greater than those tiny hatchlings that we saw, you know, back in the fall at this point in their life, which is excellent. One of the things we're going to be doing that we started incorporating this past year is to actually tag these animals, pit tag them. And what that's going to do is sort of allow us to, in some form, keep track of them for the rest of their lives. If we happen to encounter them in the wild, whether it's good or bad, we can know where that animal came from, what year it hatched out, and, you know, sort of figure out better success of this program and the sort of status of the population as a whole.
That's fantastic. And they are very good eaters.
Yes.
They were about the size of a $50 when we got them. And they have, even the littlest one has grown right into their shell. They're pretty social right now. We'll have to keep an eye on them because they don't particularly care for their feeding containers. But what are we going to do today?
So what we're going to do today, overall, it's actually a fairly simple process. You know, there's all different kinds of tags that can be attached to animals and sort of track them and gather data and see how they're doing. This is more of a long-term sort of passive tag. It's a lot more similar to, say, a microchip that you might get for your dog or your cat.
Okay.
So we're not able to sort of actively track these animals. What we're going to do today is get the tag ID number, make sure that it works with our reader. And once that's implanted and that turtle is released back into the wild, it's not like we're going to know day to day what that animal's doing, what their success is. But this is sort of a long-lived species, so many of these turtles can live 40 or more years. So if for whatever reason we encounter that animal in the wild, say 20 years from now, if we still have our readers going at that point, we can find that animal, scan it, find that tag, and know that it was Winkin' from, you know, the 2018 hatch season with Channel 18. and they are now a nesting female, or whatever might be going on with that animal at that time.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And same with, even unfortunate things. So if it was an animal that unfortunately got, hit on the road or something like that, we could still, at least get information to know where that animal came from and sort of what their success was. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But
right. No, these guys, they're pretty good foragers out there. I think they're going to do just fine back in the Great Marsh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what we've seen is, they run primarily off of instinct. So even though they do definitely form bonds in the classroom and, here at Channel 18, they generally go right back in, as we'll see at the turtle release, right back into the mud and, hopefully out into the marsh.
I'm so excited. All right, so how are we going to get started?
All right, so what we're going to do here is, we have our data sheet. The great thing about this whole process is we've worked a lot with the Wellfleet Bay Wildlife Sanctuary. They've been doing this for a couple of years. And they've been generous enough to donate some of this equipment, sort of help us transcribe a similar data sheet, which will be great because we'll be able to share this data with them, and sort of create a database region-wide of terrapin activity. And so we're going to have our data sheet, make sure it's all ready to go, and we're just going to gather a few pieces of information before we go with the tagging process. This is just going to be some weights and measurements. One of the other things we want to do is just look to see if there's any sort of deformities on their shell or anything sort of unique that might differentiate them from another animal.
Okay.
Then the tagging process itself is pretty simple. These tags are preloaded into the syringe, and it's just going to be a very quick implant right into the hind leg, just under the skin, and that should stay with that animal for the rest of its life. And we'll check afterwards to make sure it's breathing properly, and before release next month we'll check that again too, just to make sure that
and that's in the hind leg, so there's some room to move for that tag as they grow.
Exactly. So the way the turtle's sort of anatomy runs, there's a little bit of wiggle room there in that spot. So as the turtle develops and grows, it shouldn't interfere with anything as far as their organs or anything like that. It should stay right in that area, and it should be fairly non-invasive to their ability to thrive.
Excellent.
So.
All right. So who do you want
first? All right. So we can go right down the line. We'll start with Winkin.
All right.
And we've already got him set up a little bit here on the data sheet, just as far as the name goes and the tag number. So what we do to sort of start out before taking it out of the pack, again, this should read right through. And we get our ID number, so we already have that written down. It matches right in line, so that's good. That's all squared away. I always like to do that first just to be safe, because you don't want to go through the process and then have a tag that for whatever reason doesn't work.
Right.
The next thing we will do is go ahead and get the weight.
The weight, all right. This was our littlest turtle, and he has really grown right into his shell. He's definitely a little squirmy.
All right.
So we'll put him right on. Oh, stay on, buddy.
There we go. He's pretty cooperative, which is good. So we got 142 grams.
142 grams. Back in the water, bud.
And we'll write that down. And next we're going to do a few different measurements. So we want to measure various parts of the shell, both the top and the bottom. So we'll get a few measurements along the carapace. The first we're looking for is the length. So that's going to be straight from this section up here all the way to the back. And it gets fun because they like to wriggle around. All right, 9.2 centimeters. Next, we're going to go with max width. So there's two different widths here. The maximum width, if you look at the way their shell runs, is right here, sort of on the rear part of their carapace. And then we're also going to take a width in the front here between
the shoulder blades.
Scoot 1 and 2, yeah. So here we're looking at 7.2.
And you mentioned it's centimeters and grams,
right? Yep. And so that's based on the data sheets, again, from Wellfleet. We want to keep that universal with them and make that sort of easy to understand between locations. And next we're going to flip them around, and we're going to do the same thing real quick. So we're going to get a length
beautiful shell
and a width Yeah, the patterns on this one are particularly cool. That's what, you know, one of the things that's so cool about terrapins in general is their sort of unique patterns on both their skin and their shells. All right, and the last one we're going to get is the width, and it's just going to go right between these two notches here. All right.
Right.
Excellent.
You did a good job. You ready? All set?
All set.
right.
So everything, you know, looks good.
Yep.
Plenty big enough. We like to have the turtles around at least 100 grams. It's gives, you know, makes them large enough where this process itself is a lot easier and safer to do. It's possible to do with smaller turtles, but it's nice to sort of have that safety threshold,
Right.
and it's better on them as well.
It'll be over before you know it.
So we scanned our tag. It's ready to go. The other thing we're going to do, just to be safe, what's nice about these particular tags is they have a little other scanning tag that we can throw right in the data sheet. So we can refer back to that just in case something should happen.
Okay.
And again, you know, it's always good. Double, triple check, make sure it's good to go.
You're mad.
Very carefully, we are going to detach the safety stopper there. Take that out. And if you look right in here, and it's going to be hard to show, but just that tiny little thing there, there's really not much to it. It's very, very small. It's just a little piece of wire that, you know, sort of measures that frequency when it goes through the scanner.
Okay.
And what we will have you do, this is the fun part,
Yep.
is we're going to hold this turtle
Yeah.
like this, and then if you can,
Hold his leg.
yep,
He's
hold this
squirming.
leg out,
Yeah.
and he's not going to want to give it up now. So you can
Put him back.
try and get him. Yeah, he's not happy with us right now. Sometimes if you flip the other leg out, you can get this one.
There. Oh, almost.
It's tough. This is
Yeah.
probably the hardest part of the process, is getting them to cooperate with you.
There you
So
go.
just like that is
All
what
right,
we want.
I got him.
And so if you can get that as sort of as straight as possible,
Yeah.
what I'm going to do is end up tagging it right inside that spot right
Okay.
there. So
Here we
whenever
go.
you're
Good
ready,
boy.
yeah, if you're able to sort of just hold it right in there, if possible.
Okay, I got it. There you go, buddy. It's almost over.
Excellent. What's going to happen is this is going to go right here. And that's that.
That's that. Okay,
So
see?
he is gonna bleed just a little bit on this one.
Yeah. You're okay, bud. You're just
Not
fine.
too bad.
Not too bad.
And there's
All
a,
right.
there's a couple of blood vessels right close by, but nothing major. And
Okay.
the great thing about this here is that they're still part of the Head Start program. If something were to have gone wrong,
Right.
you know, they're still in captivity. They're being monitored. We have
Right.
Cape Wildlife right here. We can work
Right.
through all those processes, but nothing like that has happened. And
Okay.
you know, already being back in the water, there's no blood coming out.
Yep. No.
So he's good
Did
to
it
go.
like a champ.
So we're going to do one more thing with him.
Yep.
Just want to give him the opportunity to calm down for
Calm
just a
down a
second
little
and
bit,
get
right?
his
Yeah.
break, because it is, you know,
Yeah.
probably not the most fun for them overall. But we are going to scan that tag one more time.
Okay. One more time, buddy.
Right
Yep.
there, scanned right through, so he's good to go.
All right.
And the last thing
Yep.
that we're going to do
You're
is
gonna-
just put a quick little notch in this section of his carapace, and I can show you that. It's very simple. Again, this is no different really than trimming your fingernails, because we're not going deep in to interfere with
What's that?
anything on the skeleton. So this right here is just another way to sort of monitor that this has been a tagged animal. So as part of the mark and recapture study,
Yeah.
it's going to go towards more than just our Head Start animals. We're actually going to be going out in the wild, you know, in the future and doing some surveys and tagging wild animals. So that's just hopefully another way to be able to see first glance that this, you know, should probably have a tag in it.
Right.
It's the same area that they notch, again, with Wellfleet studies.
Okay.
part of them being sort of a sort of young turtle, and they're going to be growing a lot more, that's probably going to fade away more than, you know, say one of the adult turtles we might encounter. But what'll happen is if we encounter that animal again in the wild, we can sort of redefine that notch again and sort of keep that going. So not the exact same reasoning, but, you know, for instance, with lobstermen, you know, they find a egg-bearing female, they have to clip a certain section of it, so the next person that finds it, you know, knows that.
Yep.
So kind of similar, just in that, you know, if you find that, you should know that was a tagged animal. So before you go throwing a tag in it right away, you know, check to make sure and see, see if you can find that in the database. So.
All right. Well, we will basically, I think, get the rest of these guys done, and then we'll release them on June 13th at 5 p.m. at Sandy Neck, right? That'll be the public release date. They can come out with Channel 18.
Yes.
And we'll don't bring good shoes into the marsh. That's the first rule. But you'll give a little talk out there, and then we'll be able to take these guys out and put them right back in the Great Marsh. Excellent.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And again, that's a public release, so anyone that's interested in the program or just likes turtles or just likes Sandy Neck or just being outside is invited to join us. It's a really, you know, always a good time. So you can get to say our last goodbyes to these turtles, a couple of the turtles we've been raising at MEA, and sort of send them on their way.
Excellent.
So.
Thanks so much, Sean.
All right, thank you.
The Barnstable High School ball fields have long needed an upgrade. Plans were shelved several years ago and now have found new life. The Field of Dreams will become the Fields of Reality. Channel 18 was on the baseball field for the groundbreaking to kick off the construction of the new athletic field complex.
Sun always shines on a Field of Dreams, right? Excellent day and a big day for all the children who will have an opportunity to really enjoy this field and bring it to its fullest for the community. A field like this isn't just about those who get to play on it, it's about all of us who get to see our families grow and enjoy the community at work and at play. It's always an effort of all of us to get together after it's been vetted properly by the school committee and by the needs of the schools. And this is just one of those things that occasionally debt gets retired, other opportunities become available, and sooner or later a Field of Dreams is a field of reality.
Field of Dreams, now a field of reality. That line from Town Councilor Jim Crocker is just resonating through the day. What does this mean to Division I sports here at Barnstable High?
Well, it's a tremendous day for BHS because we know that we have a plan in place, and that plan is now going into actions that will result in a real top-notch facility for our students. And I think for our student athletes, it means they can be real proud of their home school. And for the community, it means we're going to have a space where people are going to come out and come support their athletes and help build the sense of community that has always been so strong in the town of Barnstable. This project is going to help perpetuate that and move that forward. As you look around here, we all do different jobs, whether it's the students here to learn or all of us. If we stay connected and we continue to push, we will deliver what's absolutely the best for Barnstable High School students and for the community at large. So Meg, thank you. Mark, everybody who's been involved, this is an awesome, awesome day.
This is exciting. This doesn't happen by one individual, certainly vision by our school department and our town council, coordination with our superintendent and my office and staff, certainly leadership, certainly community commitment. I'm a strong believer that the way that we present ourselves is the way that we are treated, and I think that's an important lesson. Certainly, I'm here at all these fields a lot. I have 6 kids. They all come through Barnstable school systems. They all play on these fields. I tell it to them. I say it to their friends. I want them all to be proud of what we do in town, whether it's our beaches or our fields or our schools. It doesn't matter if you're in the classroom or on a stage or on a field. I want you to walk out of here being proud. I want you to come back, and I want you to say, I'm glad I came through this system. It's an excellent system. It's the best system that I could have come through, and I want to participate the rest of my life in it. And if we can achieve that, It's much more than just a baseball field or athletics fields. It's that commitment that makes our community great.
The next steps are, we've gotten permission now to begin excavation, so we'll start cleaning the grass and the topsoil off the site, start doing all our grading, and start getting ready to run infrastructure in and get all the pipes and what have you in, and hopefully be ready to start installing the synthetic turf around the August timeframe.
If you build it, they will play.
They certainly will play on a beautiful, beautiful field.
This is really an exciting day. The weather's cooperated. Tell me the sense, this project, 5 years in the making.
At least 5 years in the making. As I said, I became superintendent in the district in 2016, and it had been shelved at that point, some initial design work. So again, just sort of thinking about what is it that we can do to create or support Barnstable High School as the flagship of our community. This is a Division I program. We have more than 800 student athletes participate on these fields between and among the 3 seasons, and they really deserve the best that we can give them. And through a combination of school committee support and town council support and working closely with the town manager, as President Crocker said, the Field of Dreams has become the field of reality.
But I have the student athletes standing behind me today because this is why we do what we do, right? Is to create opportunities for our kids to have fields like this to play on, because we value not only what happens academically in Barnstable Public Schools, but what happens outside of the classroom as well. And I don't think there's anyone here that would deny the fact that our students deserve the very best, and that's what they're getting with our Field of Dreams.
Up next, things to do, places to go, and people to meet. The Big Fix-a-thon is a fundraising day of service that mobilizes over 200 volunteers who will make small home repairs for income-eligible homeowners on Saturday, October 5th. There are still a few openings for Housing Assistance Corporation's annual Big Fix-a-thon event. Applications are due Friday, June 14th. Housing Assistance is encouraging Hyannis and Centerville senior, veteran, and disabled homeowners to apply now. In order to apply, residents must be a homeowner in Hyannis or Centerville. The home must serve as their primary residence. Recipients will be notified they have been chosen for the event during the summer. The Big Fix-a-thon started in 2010 in Barnstable. Since that time, it has helped 124 homeowners in 9 Cape Cod towns with a variety of small home repair projects. More information at www.hackoncapecod.org or at Housing Assistance Office at 460 West Main Street, Hyannis. Comments, suggestions, accolades? Connect with us on Facebook, email us, or send us an old-fashioned note by carrier pigeon. Channel 18 works for you. I'm Paula Hersey, and thank you for watching Barnstable Today.